How does the average majority of Call of Duty players play Call of Duty? They play usually by themselves and selfishly, with total disregard to the concept of teamwork in a typical scenario. I don't give a fuck who I offend, but most COD fans, and I say most because I don't ever want to generalize when shitting on a group of people, are the dumbest, most selfish, and insidious part of the gaming community at large. One classic, timeless, and shining example of this is the teammate in a domination match who thinks he's hot shit, right? And assumes the Slayer role when in fact, he's playing the gayer role. He proceeds to completely ignore the objectives just for a few extra kills and hardly anything for the team to show for it because he's actually trash and went 34 and 27 with one capture at the beginning of the game. Another example is the polar opposite autistic brother of the gayer Slayer who hops on every single flag with no plan, skill, or just anything in mind and goes 7 and 36 with 4 captures that were held for maybe half a second in total before the other team turned him on his back and showed him a real good time.
Really, nigga?
These are the average everyday players that make up more than 90% of Call of Duty's player base. The other 10 or so percent make up us. The players with kill death ratios over 2, score per minute over 220, win-loss ratio over 3, so on and so forth. We are the players who complain about skill-based matchmaking after partying up and communicating with a friend or two and utterly decimating players on the other team who might as well be bots, then running into a team who can fight back the next game. These players are selfish assholes too, myself included, albeit for completely different reasons that in my eyes are almost completely justified. I mean, why are people so afraid of games with a skill gap? Even Fortnite has a skill gap that separates good players from the rubbish in its build mechanics, but I won't go any further into that tangent or else I start rambling, but you should be able to see my point. For a long time now, COD has been torn between pleasing these two types of players, the players who actually play the damn game versus the casuals who play the game for that week or a couple times through the week or the weekend after work between taking care of the kids and doing other regular shit. This is why COD lays here dying on the decline lately, but the historically reliable team over at Treyarch looks to turn this on its head. Among all the changes and additions announced for Black Ops 4 at E3 and post E3, by far the one that's going to have the most impact on whether COD continues on this downward spiral to being nothing more than a memory are specialists. And it's kind of sad to say, but because of the toxic state the COD community has been in for so long, the specialists that went to make Black Ops 3 one of the best and more interesting COD multiplayers will be what ultimately brings the gargantuan franchise to its knees. 3 years ago, back in 2015, Black Ops 3 was released, and the big game changers were specialists. These player characters equipped with their own unique lethal or tactical abilities that players could choose from. Whatever your opinion is on whether specialists belong in COD or not, doesn't really matter, to be honest. Me personally, I have mixed feelings about them. What matters is they added an element of strategy and diversity to the game that, granted, you can only see the effects of in objective-based game modes for the most part. If you were playing team deathmatch or free-for-all, then you just randomly come across a player in what's otherwise a normal gunfight, except the other player has a lethal ability queued up, gets a free kill on you just for playing the game, and you get shitted on by gravity spikes after putting 3 bullets in his chest because, well, really just because. Besides all the bullshit and good things that specialists brought us, I never thought I'd appreciate the fact that anyone can choose any specialist they want when they want, regardless of if someone else had it too. While it was rare, there can be an entire team of kinetic armored tryhards on one team, and while that's disgusting to see, it's simultaneously a beautiful sight. I can't even lie. However, this is not, I repeat, in no way this is not the case for Black Ops 4. At the beginning of every match in Black Ops 4, each player must select a specialist, and you gotta get the one you want before someone else on your team takes it. And yes, you're right, a bunch of fat kids. That is going to make doing specific challenges incredibly annoying. One would even call it a chore. But this is much more detrimental than just making challenges much more tedious. It challenges the COD community to adopt a team-based mentality. It challenges us to open our mics up in game chat and actually have a normal, coherent conversation and communicate without spouting obscenities like fuck your mom, your dad sucks dick, calling people nigger, and basically tell each other how you or me should play the game. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that speaks volumes to me. That's pretty insane. I see what you're doing, Treyarch. I see what you're trying to do, Treyarch. It just sucks that this effort in trying to make COD more team-based is being compared to Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege. But COD just isn't those games in any shape or form, and it has no chance to develop into something like those because of the players who play it. The selfish, loner, trash scum who've been at the center of the player base for far too long for it to just change on the flip of a dime. I mean, imagine hopping into a game of COD, not Siege or Overwatch, but COD, going to pick your favorite specialist that you're good with, and I mean good. I'm talking 2.0 plus KD, 300 score per minute plus, and some fucking nobody with a negative KD who just went 3-17 last game boot gangs your specialist. Boot gang all out of game shit! Okay, no big deal, you might say. You hop in game chat real quick. Hey man, remember how well I did last game to get us that win? Remember I had that specialist? Yeah man, how about letting me use that specialist for us so I can help get us another win, you know what I mean? He hops on the mic, shut the fuck up nigger, then bam, you lose the game because he doesn't have the first clue on how to use the specialist to its fullest potential in an objective based game. How would that make you feel? If it's not anything synonymous with pissed, infuriated, or depressed due to lost faith in humanity, then you may be a sociopath, because I'd be fucking furious to say the very least. And it's such a simple fix. Let players choose their specialist, period. It's not that hard. Trying to force COD players to play nice with each other is like trying to get Drake to respond to Pusha T. It's not gonna fucking happen, because J. Prince Vonderhaar wants to promote a team-based mentality and a player base who's been conditioned, arguably since 2007 at the release of COD 4, to play selfishly. Forget your teammates because they're probably garbage anyway. Get your streaks that tear ass through the enemy team effortlessly from the sky or ground, and finally, just win. Just win. A very simple yet outdated concept that COD has continued to implement even today, while it's been tremendously and drastically watered down to give the 90% of players who play very casually an advantage against good players. This get kills, don't die, and be rewarded concept works, but has its own flaws, and ultimately it's what COD players love, despite what some would probably have you to believe. Those people just hate being at the receiving end of an AC-130 raining actual hail down on them, or dogs chomping on their ankles and knees. Though this frustration is understandable among the better players, because you see good players get matched up with bad players all the time due to the infamous skill-based matchmaking system that's been implemented in the last, I believe they've been in every Treyarch game, actually, which is kind of crazy now that I think about it. Which in turn allows the other team to get streaks, effectively making matches look like LeBron and the Cavs up against the Golden State Warriors. One man can only do so much. It goes back to casual gamers and their fear of having a skill gap in multiplayer games. Like I said before, I won't be going on a tangent about how skill gaps should work in games, but I will leave you guys with this. Is it fair for a poor player who isn't trying to improve necessarily, only plays about 5 to 8 hours a week, to be able to be given the advantage to evenly go toe-to-toe with someone who's played the game with intent to get good and averages 15 to 20 hours a week on the same game? Yeah, just think about that. Just kind of marinate on that a little bit. The way Treyarch is deciding to implement their specialists is a huge gamble to believe in their community so much as to trust COD players to work together while playing their game. And you know, deep down I kind of hope it works out. I really do. I still like COD. I haven't played, like, that hasn't been an exclusive game in my library that I only play in an extremely long time. But deep down inside, I do hope that something good can come out of this game. But at the same time, I know it won't. I know it won't. This is terrible, to be blunt. specialist and team-based play has no place in the Call of Duty player base, and players will agree with me. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I've said a number of controversial statements in this commentary, in this video. I want y'all to let me know. Be vocal. You're vocal as hell on every other video out there on the internet. Let me know how you feel, what kind of questions you might have, what your concerns are for this Black Ops 4 and the direction of Call of Duty. It's been Charlie, and I'm out of here. Peace. Hey yo, Thunder and TSG, thanks again for having me on the channel. Once again, it's heavily appreciated. By the way, you guys, if you do want to come over to my channel, don't expect to see any COD much at all. I play a whole lot of real games. But no, seriously, I'm not playing so much in the way of COD. So if you're just this type of guy to watch Call of Duty and everything Call of Duty, don't follow me. I'm only telling you that as a courtesy. Of course, I welcome the interaction and the subscribers and the numbers. But if you're just here for COD, if you're only on YouTube for Call of Duty and you care about literally nothing else gaming, don't waste your time and don't waste my time, okay? Anyway, I'm outie. Peace.